finally, we've worked out how we can do this session now on this computer. Oh no, what happened here? Okay, I think we're still going. Yeah, so we've worked out what we've been doing, so we can only share the screen on one computer. We can't have two screens running, so I won't have two screens running today, and we should be fine. So today we're going to look at Solibri and how we can use Solibri to help us do what we do, and within our own architectural side of stuff, and also in the greater scheme of the building, where we can look at clashes with HVAC type stuff, and maybe discrepancies between us and structural design and all those sorts of things. So it's quite a handy little tool. So the first thing you're going to need to do is get a copy of Solibri loaded on your computer. It's a paid product, and we only got a couple of licenses at this stage. So the first thing you need to do is just go to Solibri, https://solution.solibri.com. It'll take you to this screen. This is once we've given you a login as well, so if you need a login, let us know, and then we will set you up with one. And then you click on that product view, and you come in here and you can download Solibri Model Checker from here. There's also, if you just want to look at an IFC of a building or part of a building, whatever, you can just download the model viewer, which is free. And that's basically allows you to do everything that Solibri Model Checker does, except create issues and make notes and things like that. So you're still able to go through and just see what's happening in the building and see where problems are, and go back to your ArchiCAD model and fix it up.
What's the difference?
This one allows you to, if you notice something in the model, like say there's a clash, like a pipe running through a light or something like that, you can create an issue and say, there's a pipe running through the light. Can you HVAC guys look into this and fix it? And then it will save it to this folder or to a file, and then you can send it off to someone, and they'll be able to open it up on their computer, and it'll take them to the same place, and they'll go, oh, okay, there's a problem, and we'll fix it. So whereas the viewer, you'll see that, but you can't do anything about it other than maybe ring them up and say, try and explain where it is. So yeah. So once you've got all that loaded, well, then we're ready to roll and do our stuff. So if we go now to ArchiCAD, and the first thing you need to do is basically save your IFC file. So what's a good idea is to sort out what you actually want to show in the IFC file. So at the moment we've got all sorts of furniture and stuff showing, which will create quite a heavy IFC file. So if we're only looking at building type stuff, structural stuff, we can hide all that. So basically in this project here, we do have just an IFC structure only combination. So I turn that on, you should see a lot of stuff disappear. So now we're left with, just the basic stuff. So quite often I tend to like to just do it out of 3D. So I go into the 3D view, see what it is we're saving. So you make sure that it looks right. Oops. So yep, that's what we want to save. And then we've also got in this project, and many of the projects that we work on, it's down here, these little reference marker points. Now this one down here is our project origin, so this is set at 000, and everything that us and the engineers and everyone else work off is based off that point, so that when we put all our models together, they should stitch seamlessly. And it's also handy that if the models don't stitch seamlessly together, that you've got a known reference point to be able to sort of like drag someone's model back into line. So this is what we want to export. What's that doing there? Get rid of that while we're at it. This is not a teamwork file anymore.
Okay.
This is just a PLA. Hey, why are we not deleting? Okay, we'll leave you there for now. Oh, some sort of, oh, I know why. Yeah. Grouping thing. Okay, so got our model. Now we just want to export that. So we'll go File, Save As. And we want to save it as an IFC. And just a standard IFC file will do the job. Let's save it to my desktop. And then we can export how we want to export. So the entire project, so that'll bring back in everything into the file and export it. Or we just want to export the visible elements on all stories. So at this stage, we want to export just what's visible. The translators, so you can choose what translator you want to export it with. We'll go with all data, and then give it a name and save. But I'm not going to save because it takes a while to go through the process. So, but it just, maybe a couple of minutes and it sits away saving. It tells you then it's saved and you're away. So,
where the translator is located? We open the file.
You have to actually go and load them in here somewhere. IFC translators.
Is there a different one for Macs and PCs?
No. It's more to do with how it treats stuff in the model. So these are for export. These ones are for import, and these ones are for export. So it.
But do we find already in our outcome
These ones should be loaded generally.
Already?
Yeah. From our template file.
From our template.
Yeah. So you can set all these things up. So unfortunately, I don't understand what any of those say, but you've got those things to sort out how you want the model to be exported and things that you can turn off and on. So we've exported that to our, saved it as an IFC. So now the next thing we want to do is take a look at it. So the most basic thing we can do is open our IFC. And the first thing you really need to do is actually just open the IFC, because Solibri works with files called SMCs, which are Solibri Model Checker files. So, and that's like a combination of IFCs. So the first of all, you got to open up one IFC, and then once you start adding files, it turns it into a SMC when you save it. So, so we just double click on that. Oh, bugger. Go back a step. So now I'm just going to bring in the IFC for our ARC model. And it always does this and hangs around for a few minutes, a few seconds hopefully. So what this is asking us for is, how do we want to define that model? So in our case, this is an architectural model. So we'll call it architectural, and then you can split off all the different consultancies from there. So and you can also give it a specific short name if you really want to define it as something different. So we go OK. That just hold on, that just opened up the wrong model again. Okay, so we'll go back and we'll just open up, and we'll do it right from the desktop. So if we go and open up the Arc IFC model, open. And this should only bring in the one model. Okay, yep, beauty. So in its most basic form, this is just our model in IFC. So it's essentially much the same as what we are seeing in ArchiCAD anyway, but the beauty is that it's probably a wee bit easier to throw around and move around and go and check out. So we can now start looking through this model. So if our first use of Solibri for now is making sure that our model is correct, that we've modeled everything accurately, is we can start by creating some sections. So we click on this button here, which gives us all the options of things we can do in Solibri. So we want to create some sections. And now we click on a plane that we want to section through, and it will create a section line parallel to that plane, which then we can now, by clicking down with our shift key and scrolling with our mouse, or if you want to go faster to a specific point, use the left button on your mouse and push it forward, or just roll back and forward with your wheel. So now we can get in here and see what's going on in our file, and we can see, whoops, something missing out of our ceilings. Things like walls that are sticking up too high above the ceiling, beams that are sticking up above the floor. So we can see all these problems and issues and stuff, and now we can start making notes about them. So we can come in here and we can go to communication, and I want to create a presentation. So that's what's called when you have a collection of issues together. So we create a new presentation, and we'll give it a name. And we'll just start from here. We'll just start with a new one. You can import these lists of issues from other sources as well, or from within the office. So if someone else has gone through and done a check, you can import their DCF file and go through and have a look at the model as well. So if we just go OK, so now it's opened up a list down here and brought up the screen of issue details. So since this is our first issue here, we'll give it a name, and we'll say that floor beams too high. We can, if the initial description's not descriptive enough, you can then start writing more detail in here. We can then start assigning it to someone. So let's assign it to someone. We haven't got the stages loaded, but we can that later. And then whether it's what sort of status it is. So whether it's an error, just some information. So like maybe you thought that something was happening in a certain place, but it's done differently. You can sort of tag it, is this correct, or what's going on here, unknown, or as a warning. So if we just say this is an error and we want it fixed by tomorrow.
So who are you assigning it to?
I'm just getting to that. So now we've got down here some responsibilities and labels. So because we've only got an ARC model done so far, we can either just choose ARC and it just says that it's our responsibility, or we can then start assigning people. So I can say that this is Antonino's problem, and click on there, and then we can give it some labels as well. So we just call it architectural and also structural. And these sorts of things are more for the ability to sort things later on, and maybe once we've taken it out of, say, here out of Solibri into something like BIM Colab or some of the other systems where we manage these issues, because a number of ways of now dealing with this is once we create all our issues is we save it as a BCF file and we email it to various people to put into their system, and then they work out or see what's their issues are and they fix it up and send it back. Or we can put it into something like we've been using on Ratamo, which is BIM Colab, and it keeps a list up on the internet, and we can all just refer to there and send this data back and forth, so we know what's been done and what needs to be done and who by and when.
Does it work like tags then? Like, can you see if you choose structure?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All the different
Yeah, it would bring up, yeah, so then you can sort by those things.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to have the issue, it doesn't seem to have the ability in Solibri itself to pick only or to filter elements.
Okay.
But you can, what do you call it, sort them in here. So you can use this thing here to add, what do we call those, labels? So you could add that there, so that when you've got various different labels, it could then start sorting them, so you can quickly go through. So here's the architectural ones grouped and engineering and whatever.
The people to whom were assigned. Can you sort by that?
So that was responsibility. Yep, responsibility. So that'll, yep.
But is this connected to your email address or?
Not directly here, but in the next stage, it can do. So unfortunately here, it'll say it's, Antonino's job to do this. So when Antonino gets it, he'll go looking for all stuff tagged with your name.
Okay.
But in, so once it gets exported to BIM Colab, it'll go, that's Antonino's task, and then it'll recognize that AVI as Antonino, and then it'll send you an email saying that you've been tasked with this and that.
So there you can write whatever you like.
Yeah.
You can write like also like more names or like.
Yeah. So
It's not.
yeah. So if there's multiple
Okay.
parties involved, it can be as many as you need in there, and then as we tie them up to other names in BIM Colab where it's easy to manage. Yeah. So then we've got that there. It's taken a photo of the problem. We can also then say, to make it clear, just say, oh, we want to make sure that we know what we're talking about here. So let's put a ring around the problem areas. And then you could say, right, we want them to move down, and you can even actually add a wee bit of text into the image as well. So now that we've done that, we can actually then come in here, and actually this one here allows us to replace the image, and this one here allows us to add more. So if we wanted to then, if it was a complex issue, we could spin around here and look at it from this angle or whatever and add another image. And so now we've got 2 images. So the beauty too is that when we've finished checking through this project and created our BCF file, and then someone else has picked up this file and imported it into their version of Solibri or whatever they use, when they come to this issue, it'll take them to that same viewpoint. So it'll create a section plane and bang, put you right there, show you what you're looking at. So that's then easy to manage.
And are these saved only within that one warning rather than the whole 3D? So if you bought this Solibri, you couldn't just make a section and just look for those red lines?
No, well you could, but that would be an onerous job. You need to, because they pop up randomly, sort of like, if we go now, if I come back out of here, they're there, they stay in the 3D, but sometimes they, in a really complex.
It's still useful that it isn't.
So you can see that there's an issue there, yeah. But the most sensible thing is to, because once you go past it, it disappears again. So it is to create an issue and have it saved. So then if we, and we can actually then also create multiple cut planes. So we section. And it seems to be, if you wheel mouse, if you've got multiple cut planes, if you wheel mouse, it brings them both. If you click and mouse, it just moves the one that you selected. So if you're wanting to sort of hone in on an area, create a box around it, well, you could do that. So now you're in there too, we can start checking stuff as well, like making sure our heights are all right. So we can dimension. So you go to grab the dimension tool, and it just then brings up this little yellow or marker line here, yellow. And so at the moment it's looking for surfaces and lines and sort of geometry. So now I can sort of say, well, if I click there, it's going to make my reference point the top of that floor slab. And then I can go up here and basically just click anywhere on the bottom of that surface or underside of that beam, or first we'll go here, and it'll tell me that it's 4.97 meters vertically between those two floors. I could also, go to the edge point of that beam, so it'll sort of snap to natural points, bang, and 4.64, the underside of that. So if you're like looking through here and you're noticing something, and you've got your ArchiCAD model, say on another screen or whatever, you can go back and forward and start saying, well, that beam is out of position, 200 mils, so I need to move it 200 mils to the left or to the right, or I need to lift it up. So you can quickly just make sure that your model's right, which is a lot easier than trying to do the same in ArchiCAD, where you've got to sort of create multiple cross sections. And
it's handy also when you just are designing, like doing whatever, instead of switching from plans or section to 3D into ArchiCAD, you switch from ArchiCAD to Solibri. It's much faster.
Yeah, it is a lot easier to move around and get out. Now, say you want to get rid of your section lines here, so I don't want that one anymore. You just need to click on or get in the right angle. So wrong thing. So you need to have sectioning turned on. So now when I click on there, right, choosing which section I've got, and then I just choose the section I want to get rid of, and then delete, and it gets rid of the section line. If I want to switch, say, viewpoint, So we've got this section line here, looking through there. So now I want to look the other way, the other half of the building. If I backspace, it then flicks me around the other side of the building, or gets rid of this half I was looking at and brings on the other half. So then I can see what's happening down that side. If you have multiple models, what I'll do now is I'll just bring in a rack model, and we'll just quickly see how it works with two models together. That's fine. Actually, no, I'll bring in a LVO, and then you can see all the pipes. So you just keep adding multiple models, just like that. Just open up, add model, and choose what you want to bring in. So now it's asking us what we want that one to be. So it's sort of defined it or worked it out already itself that it's building services. As you know, we want to make it ventilation, so let's go OK. And now we should, oh, there we go.
Can you relocate the position if it happens that, for instance, one is not according to your volume?
That's a Solibri advanced lesson. But you can, yeah.
Is it possible to change maybe the colors of how Solibri model? Say if you had two drawings.
Yes, you can actually, but here.
So you could show different faces and different colors, for instance.
You can put also transparent, like one is visible and the other is overlaid but transparent, or like all the others.
Okay, so let's just try this, because what we need, let's just say we want to paint our building one color, right? I think you can do that. And we'll remove, first of all, we'll remove the section line, section plane. Right, so now we're actually in the building. And we have got both ARC and LVI in there somewhere. So if I just, first of all, we go through to model management. So once you've got multiple models in place, you can then manage them by turning them off and on as you please. So you might not want even to check your ARC model. At some point you might want to be checking, say, the pipes against the structural stuff. So you can then choose what you want to show. So just to say in this case, I want to turn my ARC model off. I select the ones I don't want, and then I go here and remove from the selection basket. And it disappears and leaves just the ISC. If I've got lots of them, and rather than go back and forward and adding and removing, I just want to say I've decided I just need 3 different models. You can choose them just like you do with anything else, so control clicking and then choose this one here, which is make selection basket. So now the elements that you've chosen will be the ones that are turned on, and anything you haven't chosen will be turned off. So now if I do that, it turns both of those on. So if I now say hide the LVI one, now we want to go and we'll just paint the visible with colour. So we'll paint all the ARC model one colour. What is it? Sorry, choose colour. Okay. Yeah. So it's painted that whole building red, obviously. You could have. We've also got. That might be cool. Everything visible. now, what was I going to say then? Oh yeah, because the other way of managing the elements is also by these types, and also by and layers. So if you wanted to say, where are we? Make that switch. So we can turn off, oh no, wrong thing. What am I looking for? Oh, that one there, sorry. So now I've just turned on everything that's a roof. So if for some reason might you want to just paint all the roofs. Paint visible with current color. Sorry, you've got to choose that color. So now when we go back and turn all of our layers on, all of our roof elements are now showing as red. So you can sort of clearly then choose things that you want to highlight and look for and stuff like that. And then really, I suppose that for this lesson, all we really want to do now is basically just take our presentation and save it. So we just then create a report, and you've got all these different formats. Generally the safest, if you don't know what people are going to be opening, it is version 1 as a BCF. You can also save as a PDF or an RTF, and Excel. So usually if you know that someone wants this to put into their 3D model system themselves, BCF's the way to go. If they're not that technical and they just want to see issues, we'll save it as a PDF will be fine as well, and that just creates a list and puts a picture and a bit of information. So, but they can't quickly then go to anywhere in the building and find it. The beauty of this BCF thing too is that as we get further into how to use this and you link everything back to say ArchiCAD, you can then go from the issue that we've identified here. Oops. So you can go from this issue here in Solibri, that when you then go to ArchiCAD, it will take you to the same place. So you're not having to hunt through your ArchiCAD model looking for these beams that are sticking above the floor, especially if it's a complex model with lots of repetitive type stuff. Someone's only saved you a view that looks like that, it could be anywhere. So that's the beauty there. So, and then we report. So then just basically save the report and it will export to wherever you want. We'll go into this, I think, further and further and build on it as we go, and then add on stuff later on, like how then we coordinate this with something like BIM Colab and those other things, and some other handy. There's actually another handy little add-on for Solibri which links to ArchiCAD, which will do a check of your model, so you can quickly be working in ArchiCAD and go into Solibri and find some issues, and then come back into ArchiCAD and have them actually identified quickly without sort of having to save a file, go to Solibri, open it up, import the file like we've just done here. So, and then there's another one next, well, I'm not even going to cover it here, but it can also do actually automatic checking for you. So there's a whole lot of rule sets and stuff, so it'll go looking for pipes and stuff that clash, or structural elements that don't line up, walls that don't meet the ceiling, say. So it can you can program a whole lot of rules in there of things that we want to look for. Also in the design phase, things like fire escape routes, things like that. So it can check that you've got those in the building, that they comply with the relevant codes and all sorts of information. So it's a really, really powerful tool to add on and take sort of design work to the the next level. So yeah, that's just a basic introduction of Solibri and how to go about using it. So hopefully that's of some use. And the best way around it too is just to just get in there and have a play and see what it does, and try something. You can't do too much wrong. I mean, in a worst case, if you screw something up, just exit without saving, and you've not not caused anyone a problem. So, and then just this was the other one is the model viewer. So if you, here we go. I think this should have just the So basically that's there, and it's the model, and then in the communication, well, we haven't got. Actually, what I can show you too is, before we go, is if we do go through with exporting that VCF file, where am I doing that report? If we just export it as that, save report. Guess let's save that to my desktop, so we get out of that. No, and then if I now technically we should be able to bring that report in here, and then it'll take us to where we want to go in that model and just check those issues. But this still works, everything basically the same. So even the whole interface is basically exactly the same as Model Checker. So even down to like the sectioning, how that works. So you can quickly in here just flick through the building and look for stuff, but you can't create issues. So it's purely just for seeing how the building looks. I'll have to look into that and see what's happening there, and let you know in the next session of Solibri, because there's plenty more to go on. Let's say it's we're only just touching the surface. So yeah, thank you all, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.